Thanks for swinging in for a little THG. The other morning, I received an urgent phone call from my neighbors, Myland and Heidi. Their sheep had decided to lamb on one of the coldest nights of this year, of winter 2023. And this little lamb here was part of a triplet set. The mother was not taking care of it. The other two were fine, and they had no colostrum on hand and needed to run to the store. Well, this was bright and early in the morning, so they were off to do that, and they trusted me enough to bring their little lamb to my house.
That's cute.
And oh my goodness, was the pressure on. So this little lamb showed up, and it was very stiff, very cold, and it was all curled up.
It's a baby.
We finally got it to drink a little bit of milk, but the little lamb just wasn't doing right. It wasn't thriving. I could tell something wasn't quite right, and I wasn't sure what to do. As I was drying it and trying to interact with it and figure out what to do, it kept twisting its head backwards and laying it on its back, like you can see there. And then when we started feeding it the bottle, it stopped for a few minutes and it drank pretty well. But then it started doing it again, really bad this time, and it scared me. And I just thought, there is no way I'm going to let this little lamb die before his mom gets back with the colostrum. So I got out my hair dryer, I had the heating pad, and Morgan and I were just working together to get this little lamb to respond better. But you can see it just wasn't acting natural, and it kept clenching up its little teeth, and just when I thought it would relax and start acting normal, it would twist its head backwards again, and its whole body would clench really tight. And I didn't know what to do. I would stop every few minutes and make sure it was breathing, because it very shallow breaths is what it was taking. So sometime in this little interim here, we were pretty desperate and didn't know what to do. So we stopped everything and said a prayer. That was the first thing. And then my daughter and I decided we were going to message my friend Sarah. Sarah is an absolute expert when it comes to livestock and animals, and a lot of other things too. But I messaged her, and she called me right away. She told me to not feed it any more milk, because little lambs whose temperatures are not at least 100 degrees cannot digest colostrum and milk very well. She instructed me to get some Carol syrup, put it on my finger, and just rub it in its mouth, and then get a bottle of some warm water and Carol syrup mixture and feed it that, and also to give it an injection in its muscle of vitamin B complex B12. This water, that's perfect. Well done, Morgan. Okay, come on. Here we go, honey. Here we go. Let's drink some more water. You guys, I was so out of my comfort zone right here. Oh my gosh, I was scared. But I totally had faith in what Sarah was telling me, and I just kind of went with my instincts. And Morgan and I just worked together, and we were not going to let this little lamb die. I think it was when she began to clench her little teeth while she twisted her head backwards that I got the most frightened at our possibly losing this little lamb before its owners got back. It was a scary thing. I'm taking this video to show her. It is drinking. It is swallowing very slowly, but it's working on it. And it is breathing.
having a baby. I miss fostering.
I know, I do too. But we're gonna hopefully have. Whoop.
If I ever foster again, it would be kittens because they're a lot.
Finally, it was about right here that we noticed the little lamb was undoing her legs a little bit. She was beginning to lift her head. She was acting more natural. Her movements were more fluid and they weren't rigid. Her teeth were no longer clenched and tight. She was holding her head up by herself without her head going back onto her back. It was very unnatural and frightening to see that. But now she's holding it up in a more natural way. She's no longer acting like a little lamb in distress. Morgan opened up YouTube and found a video that had sheep sounds on it. And we thought maybe that might be helpful to her, to maybe, stimulate her that way. Look, Morgan, it's lifting its little head by its... I was so relieved, we both were, and it was so fun to see her begin to really show signs of life and going to be okay. But boy, was I anxious for her very own shepherdess to get back with her colostrum that she so badly needed. As I watched this video back, I realized that I have been putting off doing breeding with my sheep, partly because I've been so afraid that I would not be able to handle these kind of situations, that I wouldn't know what to do. What a blessing this opportunity has turned out to be. I love it. It's always these little things that make the biggest difference in our lives. I continued to have her lay on the heating pad, and I continued to massage her. And Morgan continued putting towels in the dryer and heating them up, and then bringing them to me, and we would wrap her in those as well.
Come on, baby. Come on, honey. Come on.
That was a really good video to bring up. She still wasn't really opening her eyes for us, but you can tell she is in such a better state now than at the beginning and middle of this video. So right about here, there was a knock at the door. We let Heidi in, and the second this little lamb heard Heidi's voice, she let out her first little cry and opened her eyes.
Please, come on.
Listen, Morgan, it cried.
Boy.
I don't know.
Haven't checked yet. Come on.
There's your mama.
Come on, baby. She knew you were here. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Myland and Heidi, for trusting us with your little lamb so that you could race to town and get that much-needed colostrum. And thank you to Sarah for calling us right back and walking us through this so that we could help this little lamb until the mom got back. Here's a couple pictures that Heidi sent later. The little girl was up and happy and healthy and playing. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Have a great day.